Welcome to the second part of our lab on the axial skeleton. We're going to start by looking at regions of the vertebral column, and we are going to be looking at curvatures. So here's two skeletons. We have Laverne and Curly, and the spinal cord is divided into 5 distinct regions. The first is this region up here. That is the cervical region. And there are 7 cervical vertebrae, including the atlas, which articulates with the occipital bone, and the axis, which forms a very cool pivot joint. Now, our next part is the thoracic region. There are 12 ribs, including these 2 floating ribs, and 12 thoracic vertebrae. These vertebrae are going to have special features that allow them to articulate with the ribs. They're actually going to articulate at the transverse process right there and on the body. Next, we have 5 lumbar vertebrae, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They don't have any special features. The cervical ones do have a special feature we'll talk about when we actually look at them in detail. But these are very blocky. They have very reduced processes. And they're actually supporting most of your weight. So if you think about it, your spinal column actually has to take all of the weight of your trunk and distribute it down to your hips. Then we have the sacrum and the coccyx. I'm going to zoom in to show you the sacrum and the coccyx. The sacrum started out life as 5 vertebrae, and they fused. We could see the spinous process still. And then we have the coccyx. It could be anywhere from 3 to 5 vertebrae. So usually books say 4. And that's very greatly reduced. That's your tailbone. So the vertebrae have special features on them, depending on where they are. And we'll talk about those later. What I want to point out now is the spinal cord actually has curvatures. These curvatures help to distribute weight. So I'm going to start with this curvature right here. This is the sacral curvature, and it's going to the back or to the posterior. So it's sort of rounded, like that. I swear this is going to be a yellow pen. So this is called a posterior curvature. So the sacral curvature is to the posterior. So if you look over here, this is definitely going to the back. Now this curvature is the lumbar curvature, and it's sort of going to the front. So this is an anterior curvature. So sacrum is going to the back, so it's a posterior curvature. The lumbar region is going to the front, so it's an anterior curvature. We come back up to the thoracic region. Oh, look, it looks like it's going backwards. So this too would be a posterior curvature. And then over here, it's hard to tell. This is actually going to the front. So we have 4 curvatures. We have 2 anterior, the cervical and the lumbar, and 2 posterior, the thoracic and the sacral. Now it's sort of hard to tell on these skeletons, except for this very obvious lumbar one. So we're going to look at the side view. This is a very bad model. I apologize in advance. So we're looking at a very old model of the spinal cord, and we are looking at it from the lateral view. And we could sort of see the sacrum is going to the posterior. I think this model might have been broken at one time. We have an anterior curvature. So this is anterior. This would be posterior. We then have another posterior curvature, and then a very slight very slight anterior curvature right here. So I don't have the 360 model ready yet for you, but I want you to go to this page and look at the model, rotate around, see, oh, there's curvatures. Ooh, ah, oh. And then, more importantly, answer these questions. 1 to 3 on page 41 in your lab book, page 10 to 12 on this one, and in question 3, write what the background is for the rotating model. So I'm going to put something in the background on that model to make sure that you guys looked at it. And again, don't spend more than 3 minutes looking. I want you to see, oh, there are curvatures. Those are important. Thank you.